I want to introduce you to someone probably some of you know or don't know. Well, I know him a little bit. It's a very nice, warm, and moving person. And, well, what were you, American or Dutch?
American originally.
Good. So, I want to present you to Dylan, and Dylan is going to move us.
Thank you, Saida. Thank you. It's a delight to be here. I just flew in from Korea yesterday. I'm born in America, raised in, spent my adult life in Holland as a dancer, and then as an energy psychologist and a researcher into the mind-body connection. And now I go around doing wacky research into mind, body, energy, all sorts of things. In the last year and a half, I've been flying to Alicante several times and having some wild romps through the human body field with Mr. Fraser, and seeing where the work that I've been doing for the past 10 years in exploring the human body field through movement matches with Peter's work. And we found some pretty amazing overlaps in what we were finding with dancers researching in a studio, and with what he was researching overlapped amazingly. But there was areas that were different, areas that we'd mapped that he hadn't mapped, and vice versa. So there's this amazing synergy that's been happening. I'd been working with something called the 4 quadrants, which I'm going to get into right in a moment. And we found out really quickly that the 4 quadrants was exactly where he was at in his research, and we just went bang. So I'm going to be sharing that with you in 3 parts today, tomorrow, and the next, in short sessions of about 20 minutes. I'm going to keep the theory really short, and I'm going to make it experiential, because the nice thing about what I do is that you do it, and you understand it through your own experience directly, not just through your mind. There's a little bit of mind candy just so you can place the experience in a container, but you know what it's good for, you know what to do with it. But principally, it's about the doing of it. It's about the experience. So I basically just did all this part. Movement. I started as a dancer, then I got into the mind-body connection. I started as a singer, actually, when I was little, and then I got into movement. And when I really wanted to go into going deeper into what's movement about, I decided intuitively to go back to sound. So all the work of what the 16 Ways is comes from a deep research into, very technical, a bunch of dancers in a dance studio going, and then sort of seeing how they moved. So what I've done is I've literally, over the course of 6 years, I've asked hundreds of people, mostly trained dancers, but also non-dancers, to just make all the vowels and consonants that they could think of, and to see how that made them naturally move. And then I wrote down what they did. It took me a long, long time until a pattern emerged of, oh yeah, hundreds of people tend to be moving this way when they make the sound ah, or this way when they make the sound ooh. And I noticed these patterns, and I was looking around for something to explain all these different patterns of these different vowel sounds. And then that's when I discovered the I Ching, and the yin yang book of change from the description of the trigrams of what they were saying of this interaction of yin and yang was describing exactly what we had been discovering in our bodies and minds from these different vowel sounds. So all of a sudden, this sort of sea of different vowel sounds became a very clear pattern of opposite sets of movements. And over the next 6 years, I've been investigating sound and movement through yin and yang patterns and understanding how that works through the minds, the emotion, and the body. What I'm going to share with you over the next 3 days is we don't have much time, but I'm going to share with you a map of how we can understand our emotions through how our mind works and our body works. Emotions are right in the middle, right, between our mind and our body. What I've discovered is if you have certain positions, certain cognitions, and the tension between the cavity, the spatial cavities that Mr. Fraser's talking about, create this tension, and that tension field in that space is the emotion. And that emotion resonates with a sound, and it's in fact the sound that travels it between the phonons, between these cavities. So I'm going to teach you in the next 3 days these sounds, and how you can use these sounds to tune into these emotions. I won't talk about emotions further today. Tomorrow, I just want to go over the emotions with you and give you a sense of them. Tomorrow, we'll go into the emotions with them. And then on the third day, we'll look at how to use those and what's the difference between when it's positive and so-called negative. All right? Not really time to go into it in detail, but the first thing that Peter and I discovered was that these 4 quadrants that I was working with exactly mapped to where he was moving on with Milo Wolf's work, taking it to the next step and saying there's a proton, there's an electron, there's an in wave and an out wave. And so the first matching tests that we did were about these sounds, matching it to these things. And I knew from my work that these 4 things map to the basics of physics: time, space, energy, and matter. Which, after our first romp in the hay, Peter went on to discover that these were matching to these 4 brain types, and he's done a lot of work since then on that. So all these movements that we're talking about cue in, and sounds cue in directly to all of the stuff that Peter was just giving you. It's a direct mapping, direct correspondences here. So yin and yang. Yin and yang is a basic taking of polarities, and what the I Ching does is it just takes polarities and it stacks them on top of each other until you get more and more complex interactions, each one adding a new dimension. What I did was I took, instead of the I Ching, which goes up to 3, which they call trigrams, and then doubles them to get the hexagrams, what I did was I said, just intuitively, I danced with these for about 4 years, and I thought they're too simple. Then I went to hexagrams, had 64 movements. Oh, it's too complex. And I thought intuitively, let's just go to 4. So I just went up. It took me a few years to understand what they were through trial and error. But for about 4 years, I've been using tetragrams. And everything just fell into place. And what you get is 4 within 4, which we're not going to go into this theory, obviously, but you get a kind of a map like this of understanding how waves interact. And it was really when Peter and I started looking at how those, actually seeing those as proton and electron in waves and out waves, that I started to really understand the physics of emotion. Okay, so let's just go into this. Energy, a body's basic dynamics is principal yin and yang, which is aw and okay? Is this a crowd which is prepared to stand up? If you're not, sit. If you are, stand. How's that? Feel free to sit. No peer pressure. Sit. If you feel like sitting, sit. You can't see anything anymore, I'm sorry, but that's your own problem. Okay. Let's start with the sounds. Everybody say, not That's basic yang. It's unadulterated vocalization. Right, that's density. Now let's create aw, yin. Aw, aw. That's pure space. Aw, aw. Yang is dense. Chest forward, hands. Pure pressure. And chest in. Aw, aw. Soft spine, soft spine. Yin is supple. Aw. One more time. Again. Last time even stronger. Okay, good. Stay standing. We got 4 more. Okay. Electromagnetic energy runs through the spine, right? Centers in the heart, runs through the spine. Yin and yang is basically inducted by the body, by the curvature of the spine. Extended spine creates yang, creates radiative energy. Flexed spine creates yin, creates inward flow. Radiation, gravitation, right? Radiation, gravitation. This says I am, yang. This says you are. Gives space to the other, right? People who are stuck here are always going, I am, yep, I am. Right? And you have a whole slew of emotions in somatic psychology that they call that the red light, the green light syndrome. Go, go, go. Right? Spine like this, soften your spine. Soften your spine. Right? This creates soft receptivity, right? Each of them can have a positive and a negative, right? Can lead to failure and depression and all this, absolutely. But it can also lead to spaciousness, right? In our culture, we tend to get stuck here. We tend to privilege this, right? And this is failure. Okay, one more time. Strong hands. And 2 of these. Okay. Tomorrow we're going to take the next step up. Let me just demonstrate it once for you. What we do actually is we breathe them in and out. So it looks like this. And then we reverse them. One more time. Inhale. Release. Just feel your energy for a moment. Feel the gentle buzz. This is primal polarity right here. And hyperventilating and dizziness and all that, yeah. After a few days, you get used to the amount of oxygen. Okay, good. This is a taste tester. We'll move on. But we'll stay standing. Unless you're wimping out, in that case, you can sit down. Matter. After energy comes matter. Energy is primal. Secondary is where energy starts to collect, right? Attract and repulse. Sounds are O and U. O. 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 O is quantity. O. 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 And U. French. U. 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 Quality. U. Right, so you have the Italians with the quantity, and the French with the quality. So here we go. We're going to inhale O, exhale U. Inhale, accumulate, gather it up. Exhale, clear it out. More matter, elimination, less matter. Good. Inhale, U. Reach, reach. Exhale, O, have. Ho, ho, ho. I want, I have. Good. One more time. Inhale, O. I gain. Exhale, U, I lose. I decrease. Increase, O. Decrease, U. Wanting, U. Desire, exhale, O. Having abundance. I want more. I have enough. Good. Just feel that for a moment. Now you've just started, we just did a few, but can you already sense a sense of matter, a sense of fullness starting to come? It's the natural resonances of these sounds, right? Sound in and of itself gets this direction going. By adding the physical body to it, we're literally creating the spatial cavity that will best support that resonance, right? So when you take the sound and the spatial cavity and you put them together, you're creating optimal conditions for that energy to start to run. Then the cognitions that support that are effortlessly. You just hold the thought and it sticks, right? You ever tried to hold a thought but it just keeps going away? Right? If your vibration and your spatial cavities are not in alignment with that thought, it's going to keep like rolling off the table, right? We need to have our thoughts and our emotions and our body in alignment to support a certain vibration or dynamic. Okay, next one. Space. After matter, we get space, okay? Sounds are oo and ah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, and ah. A good German, ooh, 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 stabil, ooh, ganz gut gebaut, ooh. And a very American, Right, okay. Here we go. Inhale, ooh. Hold on to it tight. Inhale. Exhale, ah. Inhale, ooh. Hold it tight, pull it together, exhale out, push it out. Fill the space. Inhale, ooh. Exhale, ah. Ah. Great. Inhale, ah. Open yourself up. Wide. Exhale, shape it. So soll es sein. And alles ist okay bei mir. And I accept. Sure, man. Yeah, dude, whatever. And one more time. In, X, ah. Last time, And ah. Inhale, ah. Exhale, Last time, ah. And Okay, tune in, feel that, feel the resonance that created in you. Listen to your body for a moment. You might feel a slightly higher buzz than the last one. Yeah, it gets higher, right? Yeah. I'm not going through the elements, but this would be fire. We went earth, water, fire, right? We're going up, right? So fire, we get electromagnetics. This is stimulating the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, last one. Well, Peter was talking in his lecture about sound, sending sound out. If you have blocked ears, exhale, ah. It's the ah wave, it's the ah sound going out that sends, like bats, send out that radar, or the dolphins, right? Ah, sends out the radar to allow it to bounce back. Okay. Time, moving up into air, time, activities, motion, fatta. Yeah, sattvas if you're into Ayurveda. We can't go into all the correspondences in one. Here we go. E. This is the particle wave duality. Literally, particle, specific location, process, right? Result and process. Particle is, if you're a particle-based person, right, in Myers-Briggs, that's a what? A sensor, right? Instead of an intuitor, right? Particle-based people are results-based people. Go E. Look around, E.